how Ruben Amorim has discovered the secrets to Fergie's success at Manchester United. Welcome to Unite United News, your most trusted source for everything Manchester United. When it comes to getting the real story behind what's happening at Old Trafford, you know you can count on us to bring you the facts that matter. Today, we're diving deep into something that could change everything for United fans. Have you ever wondered what made Sir Alex Ferguson so special? What was his secret recipe for success that kept United at the top for over 2 decades? Well, it looks like Ruben Amorim and the Ineos team have cracked the code. They've gone back to study the Master's playbook, and what they've found might just be the key to bringing the glory days back to Manchester United. Let's take a journey together and discover how Amorim is bringing back the winning formula that made United the most feared team in England. The simple genius behind Fergie's success. For more than 20 years, Sir Alex Ferguson had a formula that seemed almost too simple to work. But work it did, and it worked brilliantly. His approach was straightforward. Why take big risks when you don't have to? Ferguson's golden rule was targeting Premier League players who had already proven themselves. These were players who understood what it meant to play in England. They knew the pace, the physicality, and the mental demands of English football. This wasn't just about playing it safe. It was smart business. But here's where Ferguson showed his true genius. He didn't just look at the big clubs. He had an eye for finding diamonds in unexpected places, even in teams that were struggling or had been relegated. Think about Roy Keane for a moment. When Ferguson signed him, Nottingham Forest had just been relegated. Most managers would have looked elsewhere, but not Fergie. He saw something special in Keane, the fighting spirit, the leadership qualities, the hunger to prove himself. Ferguson knew he could transform Keane into the monster midfielder who would become the heartbeat of United's success. The Eric Cantona moment that changed everything. However, if we're talking about Ferguson's best transfer decisions, we have to go back to Eric Cantona. This signing didn't just change United, it changed the entire Premier League. Cantona had just helped Leeds United win the league title. He was at the top of his game, proving he could perform in English football. When the opportunity came up to sign him, Ferguson saw it as the perfect move. Here was a player with no adaptation period needed, no risk of failing to adjust to English football. Cantona was Ferguson's final piece of the puzzle. The result? Ferguson won his first ever Premier League title with Cantona leading the charge. This success created a template that Ferguson would use for years to come. The lesson was clear. Proven Premier League players could be the difference between good and great. Ferguson never forgot this lesson. The very next season, he doubled down on this strategy by bringing in players like Roy Keane. The pattern was set, and United's golden era was built on this foundation. Why this strategy made perfect sense. The beauty of Ferguson's approach was how much it reduced risk. While other clubs were spending huge amounts on expensive gambles from foreign leagues, Ferguson was building a team of players who already understood English football. We've all seen what happens when this strategy is ignored. Look at Manchester United and other Premier League teams in recent years. They've become graveyards for foreign players who couldn't adapt to the demands of English football. Talented players who dominated in other leagues but struggled with the pace and physicality of the Premier League. Ferguson understood that his strategy wasn't perfect. Premier League players often came with higher price tags and sometimes unrealistic expectations. He was prepared to take calculated risks on foreign talent when the right opportunity came along. But his foundation was always built on players who had already proven they could handle English football. The key difference was that Ferguson used proven Premier League players as his base, then added foreign talent to enhance what he already had. He didn't gamble his entire strategy on players who might not adapt. What went wrong after Ferguson left? After Ferguson's retirement, Manchester United seemed to forget this simple wisdom that had brought them so much glory and success. Instead of sticking to what worked, they started chasing big names and exotic talents from around the world. The club became obsessed with signing the next big thing from foreign leagues, often ignoring whether these players could handle the unique demands of English football. The results speak for themselves. Years of disappointment and underperformance. Meanwhile, other teams started following Ferguson's blueprint. Manchester City, for example, has had great success by mixing proven Premier League talent with carefully selected foreign players. They understood what Ferguson knew all along. you need a solid foundation before you can build something special. AMORIM's return to the winning formula. This summer at Manchester United, we've seen a return to that familiar approach that made Ferguson so successful. The club has been linked with players like Matheus Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo, players who have already proven they can handle the physical and mental demands of the Premier League. These aren't just random signings. These are players whose numbers clearly show they understand English football. They've faced the best defenses in the world and come out on top. They know what it takes to perform week after week in the most demanding league in the world. Could history be repeating itself? Are we seeing AMORIM and Ineos go back to the strategy that brought United so much success? All the signs point to yes. Building the foundation for future success. Here's what makes the strategy so smart. It's not about limiting yourself to only one type of player. It's about building a foundation that can support exotic players when they arrive. When you have a core of players who understand English football, you can afford to take risks on special talents from other leagues. These proven Premier League players can help new signings adapt and understand what it takes to succeed at United. Ruben Amorim clearly understands this. He's learned from the past and realizes that sustainable success comes from having a solid base of players who already know how to win in England. The modern game still needs this approach. Some people might ask, does this strategy still work in modern football? Haven't things changed too much since Ferguson's time? The answer is simple. Look at the evidence. The most successful teams in recent years have followed this same blueprint. They build their foundation with proven talent, then add special players who can take them to the next level. Not every signing has to be a romantic, high-risk gamble. Sometimes the best move is the simple one, signing a player who has already shown they can do the job. What this means for United's future. If Amorim and Ineos stick to this approach, United fans have every reason to be excited. We could be seeing the beginning of a new golden era, built on the same principles that made Ferguson's United so special. The beauty of this strategy is that it creates a winning culture. When you have players who know how to succeed in English football, they pass that knowledge on to new signings. They show them what it takes to win at the highest level. This isn't just about buying players. It's about building a team that understands what it means to play for Manchester United. Conclusion. As we've seen throughout this journey, sometimes the best solutions are the simplest ones. Ferguson's formula worked for over 2 decades because it was built on common sense and smart planning. Ruben Amorim seems to understand this better than any United manager since Ferguson left. By going back to the proven approach of targeting Premier League talent, he's giving United the best chance of returning to the top. Here at Unite United News, we'll continue to follow the story as it develops. We're your trusted source for the real news about what's happening at Old Trafford, and we'll keep bringing you the insights that matter most. The future looks bright for Manchester United, and it's all because someone finally remembered the lessons that made this club great. Stay tuned to Unite United News, because when it comes to United, we've got you covered.